But at some point, it's like, well, how many IGLs do you need to finally show up, guys? You know, at some stage, are you actually also part of the problem? And I think this is another roster where I need to see Flit and Fame pop off, man. Like, I need to see these guys finally reach the potential that I've been expecting from them for the better part of the last 3 years.
I mean, they are such solid riflers together that I feel like just between those two, you would assume that if they were both playing well, that VP is always going to be a little bit dangerous. But unfortunately, I've said this in the past, and I've seen plenty of games now where only one or neither of them show up. So, you know, I don't think they're like a strong backbone. They could be if they get it together on the VP side. We'll find out right now as we head into it. It's going to be MIBR staying on the T side, rushing through the middle. Oh, mid-air shot from Fame. That's what I'm talking about, but instantly back. Klim comes in with a couple of kills in Sani to take down Toro, and suddenly Flitz and Perfecto in an awkward position here. Flitz, he's near the site, but he can't really do anything, and Perfecto's just a million miles away. I don't know how he gets through exit. Look at how tricky it is to try and clear this. That's a nice jump, to be honest, to at least make sure that he could see it, but at the meantime, the bomb is ticking away at the A-bomb site. They're going to get a kill here, but I doubt they could do much to recover the round.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have control of the kit either, so it felt like more of just trying to divide and deal with exit, cut him out first, and then go back and save your weapons. And with the kill onto exit, I think it is going to slow down this potential hunt as well. So it may have just saved the bacon of these last two onto VP, but it's not going to stop the fact that this bomb will detonate as Flip finds Klim. And at a glance, that would have seemed like a really foolish play from Kicker. Like, why is he jumping? It almost felt like he panic jumped. It was by design. He had two players behind him. You draw up the shots. We've already discussed on Overpass how hard it is to hit those flicks vertically as opposed to horizontally. And you saw the outcome. Klim's right behind him, follows up. They get the trade. They get the bomb site. They get the round. Really well played. As you can see here, perfectly illustrated by the replay.
It's a really nice shot to begin with there, but unfortunately for VP, it wasn't really more than that. How sick would it have been if they could have followed that up, or even just hid towards the donut, but not going to be allowed. It's MIBR to pick up the pistol, and it's VP now, stacked in the B bomb site. It looks like it's going to be a good guess. For being honest, I don't even think this, even if they go B, I don't think it's going to work. I think the utility here will shut it down, but they've guessed correctly. And that's, you know, kind of half the battle. Let's see if they can actually win one of the opening fights. Great Molotovs here to clear out that left-hand side. Could be very tricky. A lot of utility down. You can see the smokes making it hard, and they're pushed into the fight. Klim will find 3 kills, and Flit is going to be on his own towards the cave, and they'll certainly be aware of that.
Yeah, they'll be checking all these angles. Ideally sending in the MAC-10 first. It is the expendable of the remaining weapons. And just holding fire as well to get them in right position to go for a plant. So MIBR dialing in more than likely a 2-0 start. The only question that's left to be answered, I should say, is whether Flick can survive this and maybe trade up a weapon in the process. I didn't quite catch where Breno dropped his weapon. I assume that they've juggled that one out of proximity. There it is. It's on the ground now. So we can trade up to the Galil from MAC-10, and he's just going to hang around as well and make sure that no ninja defuse shenanigans are afoot. So yeah, MIBR will dial in the 2-0 without too many issues.
My feeling was that if they were going to make that stack work, probably what they would have wanted, because actually, I think there's a way in which you could argue that the smokes that go down on either side of that big box, you could use that on the CT side if you had a flashbang. So you could sort of fall into the smoke and then, you know, essentially flash your way through. But the way that they were sort of running out of the smoke and into the fire, it just wasn't necessarily a good idea. But it's all in the past now. They're going to pick up rifles very early on here. So VP electing to go for perhaps a more traditional approach almost at this point. Saving for the rifles, and they're ready to fight in the 3rd round. Instant smoke coming up towards the middle. Everyone's learning so many of these. The other one going towards the front of the cave. So, very nice utility from T-Spawn that's going to be set up already. Actually, it looks like a fight brewing in the middle. Flip's going to be taking down Insani, but I'm surprised that Insani's even allowed at all to sneak through like that. That's so rare. I thought he would have had the advantage.
Yeah, Flitzer on that prowess. Yet to die as well, by the way. Interestingly, they're 2-0 up, and he's still the immortal on the server. Trading from the Galil to the AK is Breno. And having a quick peek on the red room area. Middle is completely vacant, though, from the CTs. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
they're
if
just...
MIBR have a good read of that.
It doesn't seem like it at the moment. I don't know. There are some teams that are always testing that red room, and there are some teams that never go there on the T side. So MIBR for now, it certainly doesn't look like they're interested in it. Oh, this fight could be everything. I think if Breno loses this one, there's too much pressure on trying to attack B. If Breno wins it, on the other hand, then it'll put a lot of pressure on the defense to switch. Oh, the timing is just absolutely ridiculous. Fame will take him down, and now you can see they're locked in here. If it had gone the other way, then maybe one of these three players at B would have had to rotate it out, but now it's unlikely. Kick it, that is wild. Oh my god, sprays! 180 to take down Toro. I have no idea how he could have done that. Both kills should have been impossible, but now 3 versus 3. The bomb's planted all of a sudden. What a wild spin.
From mission impossible to mission improbable, considering the exit and kicker it's still very low HP, and there is still some grenades at the disposal, including that smoke that's now fully plumed into cave. And all 3 players around this vicinity, they have to trade one across in the form of kicker around the back of ramp. It's a really good effort. They have the lineup as well for the bomb defusal as they're ticking onto it, but it's on the other side. If Flip goes in for it fully, comes off the bomb to try and deal with the aggressing Klim, and now goes back onto the bomb. It's going to be so close, but they can't deny him. And although it's close for MIBR, it will be the round going the way of VP regardless.
Oh, what a shame. That's potentially such a sick setup, but I don't know about you. It felt like they didn't really know where that bomb was planted. It felt like both players were sort of spraying in the wrong position. And I guess that could be in the panic of the moment when you're in that 3v3. You just plant the bomb wherever you can. And it turned out to be in a bit of an awkward spot. So unfortunate perhaps, but for VP, it's great news. They actually get to go in and defuse the bomb. Tag timeout being called right away, even after the win. So, you know, I guess that makes sense. If you're Perfecto, you really, really want to lock down this game early. You want to make absolutely sure that nothing goes crazy at the start. This is so wild, though.
I love that he had so much confidence that he'd landed the first kill that he immediately just wraps in with that turret and shuts down the second player. I think another reason why initially that this TAC issue, TAC pause, I should say, is to try and deal with the issue that they did lose 3 players, and so their money is still not fantastic. Making sure they juggle across all the utility correctly. They know, even if they win, if they were to taste defeat here, it is going to put their economy into shambles. This is such an important round early on in the best of 3.
Sally is very close to hitting that shot in the red room. Deep grenade. Doesn't actually try and blow open the smoke. It just wants to do the damage to Flit a little bit further behind. There's a steep coming down the B ramp. They're pushing it while Perfecto's taking this fight. You can see Toro and Icy exactly. They are thinking about it. They're actually not going to go for it. I'm kind of surprised that they don't keep going once they're that deep in. Maybe they got spotted out somehow, because Kickert is certainly flashing his way just to check it, but once you're that deep down, I feel like there's so much to be gained here. Okay, they're going to recommit with a flashbang. It's such a devastating one. Kickert stood no chance. That is Perfecto setting up his team for success.
Exquisite flash and great follow-up as well. However, there is a cat amongst the pigeons, and Breno is going to put down Fame. And considering that nobody else on the CT side is close enough to really deal with him other than Flit, but he's playing way more passively, this does open up inroads now onto the B side. They still have to go back and pick up the bomb, though. And by the time they've done that, the time is going to be so low. So Breno goes in with a bunch of weakened CTs. This round may not be done just yet.
There surely should have been no way back. This is such a great start for them. Hiding in the bomb side is Toro here, but he's so low that all it would take is a bullet here, and he's going to be gone. See if he's going to be checked or not. Actually, his gun barrel was showing. He was kind of looking in a weird direction. Toro gets a double kill, and they will seal the round. A quad kill in total for Toro at the end of it. Obviously, the newcomer here, they've picked him up for a reason. They feel like he could show something. I don't think he's had many chances so far to really do that, but, you know, slow and steady will win the race here. It's going to be 2-2, tied up game.
Yeah, timing there, as you said, like the peak is going to be so frustrating, caught with the smoke out as well. But that tactical timeout that we discussed has paid out. And the early slip and slide of the CT economy has, by the most part, been bypassed. There is a deagle in play here, though, for Klim. And so you cannot be too overzealous here if you're VP. Can't assume anything. The round should be a formality, but they need to get it done cleanly. And meanwhile, MIBR just waiting. Expend as much of this utility. All does add up. $300 here for a smoke, another few hundred for a couple of flashes or a HE. It adds up eventually, so MIBR just going to be taking their sweet time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit less interesting to watch, but there is a reason why you do it. Like you said, you can force them into using anything. That's great news. That's a nice peek from Perfecto. Deagle on the other side here. It is somewhat important that you save the AKs. So, you know, a couple of deaths. Well, they have 3 AKs, actually, more than a couple of deaths, and then there won't be enough players to save the AKs. Obviously, you want the money as well, but you can't rebuy them on the CT side, so pretty important stuff here. Perfecto pushing forward. Sick of waiting for the Ts to show up. They actually have used almost no utility at all, VP, so they're not even accomplishing that much MIBR at the moment. It's going to be another couple of kills going the way of Perfecto. Breno will get the one Deagle shot here, but they will clean it up afterwards. And like I said, it's not a big deal as long as they can save the AKs. I think everyone's going to be quite happy. So, strong return for VP. Flit with 6 kills, Toro with 5, Perfecto on 4 here. I mean, it's one of the first times I've seen VP show up to a game early on.
Yeah, typically slow starters. And they'll definitely be happy with that. 1 kill for the round was about the limits, I would say, of where VP would be comfortable and confident in their outcome. Full rifles, not investing into any AWPs, even though they could afford it. Meanwhile, MIBR haven't really seen them battle too much for middle as of yet. And a lot of it's because of the utility that VP have been throwing down. This time getting aggressive. We haven't really seen this from VP either. Typically throw the nades, then back away into Donut and Red Room. But it will be the first couple of kills going the way of VP, and it's clean surgical strikes.
I'm surprised that they go for that fight at all on the MIBR side, because they had to push on the other side of middle. So if half of the battle is pushing in from the T side of middle, and then the other half is pushing in where Kick It is, why would you stop to take the fight towards the cave? That's not interesting. You're trying to sandwich the CTs that are in middle. And you would have done so successfully. The smoke blocks off the help from cave. In theory, Perfecto should have been smoked off, and then they should have just been basically crushing that double mid setup. So I think MIBR kind of getting confused in that moment about what the plan is supposed to be.
Some really nice rifle work as well. I totally agree. I think it did seem as if they weren't fully confident or fully committed to the play at hand, but VP definitely did their damnness to shut that down before it got any kind of steam ahead of it. Tactical timeout now called on MIBR, our second in total. It is now 1-1 in that front. And there's not too much to play with here, really. Like, this feels like a tack issue for the next round more so than this.
Yeah.
But we do already have Tech 9s and a Deagle or 2 picked up, so still a couple of threats out there. I have been a bit surprised, though, at how MIBR have been a little bit on the passive side, and as I actually expected, especially on Ancient, they'd be coming out swinging on this T-half.
I mean, they have so many players that have, you know, some of that really high confidence. I think Insani and Breno both are 2 players that love to play forward, and I'm surprised to see that they're slowed down. But on the other hand, VP are full of confidence right now. It's sick to see. There are so many VP games that I've seen recently in the last, month or so where it's kind of depressing to watch because they just don't look like they're enjoying the game whatsoever. But this is really nice. I much prefer this style. I see classic setup on top of the box. Very, very hard to clear out if you're on the T side. Kicker, though, getting a bit close, actually, for comfort. And somehow Klim's going to be able to find the kill on the Icy. So, again, a very winnable position that they somehow give away. Klim has now stolen the AWP. See what he could do with it. It is his weapon of choice. Smoke's going to go up to just make it a little bit more tricky. And actually, Flit's walking through that smoke. So Flit is on the site. Not that anyone knows that. This is a really sick move from Flit. They might come back in here and be very surprised. Klim, he's aiming towards that, and he is ready. Takes him down. Must have been right up against the sign there. Toro's going to be next, and Perfecto to fall. So very low buy coming in from MIBR. I don't know how they get that working.
Yeah, the problem for Flit there, you actually saw it just before he switched across, before he got nailed by Klim, is that because he knew there was multiple players around the site on different angles, he was kind of aiming down the middle into no man's land on the big box. And so it's always going to be so much harder to flick across, again, especially against an AWPer, that I think we'll see in a moment here, Klim. You can see that his position where he's looking, he never had a chance against Klim there. He was kind of keeping his options open. And I almost feel like when you're up against it, when you have a really horrible position against you, a lot of players will take the initiative. They'll go out and die on their shield if they need to in order to try and change the tide of how the round is going. But this round, MIBR, who've not really played too aggressively on middle, get the success they're looking for. And it's the man on form right now, 8-2 Flit, that goes down first.
Fame sneaking through. He's got the right idea, but Insani, that's the difference between the M4 and the AK. It's Perfecto taking down Kickert, and again, the bomb is being planted. So MIBR, so far so good. I think, yeah, not even a question here for VP. I was going to say, maybe they just want to save, but they already were. Not deciding to try and fight for it, so great work. MIBR from looking, I think, a bit deflated, honestly, in some of those previous rounds. Now, quick bounce back, starting to put some rounds on the board.
Yeah, kind of just pressurizing VP in the process. I mean, we've seen a lot of different takes. I've been surprised at the lack of ruthless aggression from MIBR, but what I have been impressed and surprised by is that even if they're playing a more passive kind of approach, they're not afraid to change it up. This round, Insani, super aggressive out middle, kills Flit, and then just wins the heads-up duel against Fame as well. Incredible solo effort, as you'd expect from a player of his caliber, but up until that point, you'd only managed to muster up 1 kill in the 7 rounds before that. So the fact that MIBR have so many looks, so many takes on this T side is fascinating to watch. It really does feel like a game of chess right now between these two.
I mean, it's a pretty even game, isn't it? 4-4. VP, they've expended some money. Actually, quite a bit of money. Got to be careful that they don't lose this round. Boost coming up from Klim. He's been playing very well, and honestly, from the rating alone coming into this one, you expect that he's going to be able to land some good shots. That flick's not far off, but they're going to use the fact that Toro is far back to try and push up. Counter flashes are in, and Toro wrecking them with the FAMAS. And again, it's the Perfecto flashbangs that are really helping out here. Perfecto himself will get a double kill. Exit and Insani completely thwarted in this one. They're just really far back, and I don't think they're going to be able to easily find a way out of this one. Icy will dispatch of Exit, and Insani will find himself alone. That's, I think it's a good idea for them to run up once they see that there's a player that far back. But some great counter flashes, honestly, from Perfecto.
Some great account flashes, but also some really solid work from Toro with that FAMAS, man. That double spray that he landed from the back perch was huge to shutting down that push before it could really get fully established. Him, of course, being just 18 years of age, promoted up from the VP Prodigy team. So having a lot of faith in the youth. And I kind of feel like there are some similarities in some of the storylines that we were talking about with Hades as well here, Anders, in terms of Icy. Because he was going to get benched, it felt like, until the VRS changes came along. Bist would have been played. And now he has got an opportunity to show, maybe you should stick with me after all. I mean, this is an amazing chance for him to make himself undeniable.
Yeah, I think that's a strong point. We said earlier, sometimes when you get one of those rare chances to really show that you could do it, that's where you're going to be so hungry to make that work. Bomb is dropped far back. Big indication here that right now MIBR are just trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle and figure out maybe especially where that AWP of Icy could be. He's playing a nasty off angle. It's one of those positions. Again, super hard to clear out. And if you're going to clear it out, the issue is you're also going to be revealing exactly where you are. That should have been a kill for Exit. Oh, he wants that back. He's 1-7, and Perfecto was not getting that kill anytime soon. So that's a bit disappointing. Insani might be able to catch Fame, to be honest here. The timing, when he's got a grenade in hand, it could have been happening, but he's going to give up on it right now. They're picking up the bomb. There's only 40 seconds left, so now they're bringing it back. They were running to A. They've decided against that. Back to B we go with Breno being... Look at he's going to have to flank the rest of it here. He can't even do much to help. All right, he's thrown in the smoke on the A bomb side, but is he going to sell anything? Under 30 seconds now, Vince.
Perfecto on 12, though. I mean, he's in such an awkward spot where you know a stray bullet, a bit of shrapnel, and he's gone. But he's playing that off angle. And as long as he stays alive, it allows Toro to maybe activate in here. Flash is coming along. Smoke still in position, but they know that time itself is their greatest adversary at this point. They've got to get out there. Great bait and switch. Perfecto gets 2 on his 12 HP, and that's the round done. There is no chance for Breno to have any impact. VP win off time.
What an absolutely awkward round for MIBR. That's going to feel really weird, I think, on their side. The fact that they sort of halfway made a decision to go A, and then they canceled that decision, went back to B, and left Breno. Like, his only contribution to the round was throwing in a smoke on the A bomb site in the desperate hope that it would cause a rotation over to A, and that really didn't work. VP well aware what could be happening. Perfecto with 11-3. I think when we saw his debut as an IGL, that was over in Belgrade for the Fisher tournament, it was so disappointing in general. I think they made up for it, but I remember the opening game, it just looked so flat and confusing, and just no feeling at all that this was going to work out. But individually, he's certainly playing well, and like I said, the flashbangs that he's been throwing, they've been really sick to about the rest of the team. So a lot of positives right now for VP, which is rare. I feel like VP are one of those teams that a lot of people love to hate watch. It's become a community thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of that stigma that was attached to them before, right? Like the whole Jame leadership into Electronic, when there was some speculation if he was too harsh to his players and raging at people and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's kind of just lingered around, whereas Perfecto is like a fresh take on this. And it kind of felt like his career was just languishing away. Like he was in this weird purgatory with Cloud9, I think it was, where it felt like he was inactive forever without getting picked up by any teams. But in the here and now, he stands his ground again. He's on 12 already.
I see, not faked out by the jump across there. Goes back for more. I don't think you really need to. You're already in a 5 versus 3. This is one of those moments where as an AWPer, you've got to calm down a bit. Yes, you might get another kill, but if you die, the round is right back on again. Exit, surely going to be dead here. Fame, actually moving way too much. Wiggling all over the place and ends up going down. I don't think that needed to happen at all. Fame could have easily had that kill. Insani's going to be going down. Toro watching his back. Super important stuff. And Flit will get a headshot, so it's just Exit here. Awkward position. They've got a smoke. They've got a kit. And they should be able to just try and defuse this bomb. He's looking for the lineup here. But they're bucking on the defuse. Oh, that's a lot of damage. He very nearly kills Flit, but the defuse is going to be happening. I don't know how he doesn't... Was that like a headshot halfway through the box? How did he do so much to Flit?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. And what was really cool about that as well, by the way, and you saw both players respond to this instantly, he threw the smoke as if it was a HE to blow open the smoke and kill them. And they both panicked. They both crapped themselves and moved off. It nearly worked for them. A nice effort for Exit, showing he's a cerebral player, but ultimately it was not enough. And I agree, there's a couple of shaky moments here from Fame and Flit in particular that have kind of concerned me. Fame being the biggest case, I would say. Oh, there's nothing slow about this, though. We're straight in, and Flit's already picked up 2 somehow.
Fight in the middle once again with a bit of a denial for anyone trying to come through on the other side. Perfecto stepping into the Molotov and stepping all over the place. Bit of a wild play. And again, is it necessary? Not even a little bit. You've already got the 5 versus 3. You probably will still win this round, but those are small mistakes that can, against tougher opponents, can easily accumulate into some round losses that you don't need to take. Just secure this 8th round. Virtus.pro, if they do that, I think they're already in a good position here. Mid, I think Exit is pretty much dead in a couple of seconds here. Flit is just waiting for it. And the rest of them are at the B bomb site. Actually, you got to admire Flit's patience here. Because as long as they've got them boxed in like this, they can keep 3 people at B. Whereas if he dies, there could be an escape. So as much as he could have had almost what looked like a free kill, it's probably really smart to not go for it.
I know, doubt. He's like kind of a gatekeeper right now.
Yeah.
And he needs to stay that way. If it means that the rest of his teammates all pile on the kills, doesn't matter, but that does make a huge dent in this defense. A wide swing insta headshot onto Klim. Toro taking Perfecto's position from a few rounds prior, and it has the same result. An 8-4 first half on the choice of MIBR in favor of VP, and they made that look pretty straightforward towards the end.
That was a nice shot to open up on Icy towards the end, but you're right, it just wasn't enough here. So yeah, great first half, 8-4, in spite of you know, MIBR trying to make a bit of a comeback. But honestly, throughout a lot of this half, they looked a bit flat. They looked like they were lacking something, some key ingredient to make it work. Exit, obviously, with minimal kills is a bit of an issue, but even Insani, who usually I feel like is a rock-solid player you can always rely upon to do a lot of work, he was kind of muted as well. It's a great start for VP. The second half is going to be tough the way that this is shaping up.
I've got a stat for you regarding this. I will preface this by saying, not with Kicker, there's a lot of variables in this, right? But MIBR have a 69.7% win rate on their T side and only 43% on CT side. So that was technically their better half if you look at the statistics. And it was that flat. That could be a serious problem.
You gotta hope that that's different now that Kicked is in the mix, but it could be a sign for worrying, a sign of trouble as well. Here we go. Second half, we got a single flashbang on Kicked. There's no diffuse kit in play in the round, so they're just gonna be dualied and armored up here. They really want to take this fight. Molotov on IC. I don't think it's going to be for the afterplant, but they do have a lot of utility on the T side for VP. So once they clear this out, they're going to be absolutely ready to go. The dualies at around the corner. If Flit knew, he might just want to sort of engage and disengage. I don't think fighting this is a great idea. They're both on the other side waiting, but a trade will have to do. Exit gets a kill, puts him at 3 in total for the map so far. They're on the site, and the bomb plant should be coming through here, although it's much delayed. Icy's still in the back. Punch in those digits and get the bomb planted. Here we go.
And because it was delayed, like you highlighted, the two players that were trying to wrap around CT second-guessed themselves. They went back towards A. And that allowed VP to effectively have a 2v4, and they just completely crushed them. Now, Insani's going to be taking point on this one, but now he's not going to have much chance. It needed to be a snappy headshot to open up this round. Instead, he's been spotted, and more importantly, he's been tagged down to 31. Breno also on the cross could maybe pick up a frag, but time is so low. Some nice taps. But still, Fame and Perfecto remain. And although he may have sussed out this position of Perfecto, with no real kit or any opportunities to get this bomb defused, VP will still win out regardless.
Yeah, he wanted another kill. I mean, with the new bonus structure, getting a couple more like that, it could help if you wanted to go for some sort of a force-up in this second round, which has become fairly popular across the board. So we'll see if it's enough for them to want to do it, but... yeah, well played. Ultimately, VP, very, very important here. They've already got a massive lead, but why not cement it? Why allow MIBR any chance of a comeback? If you can close the map right here, right now, that's exactly what they're going to be gunning for. So yeah, I agree. Nice shots from Breno. Not enough to win the round.
Well, Perfecto's calling a pretty solid Ancient so far, it has to be said. He's also performing well individually. 12 for him, 13 for Toro, Flit 13 and 4. Great stat line for him, and IC has been a little bit cooled off. Hasn't necessarily been required that much, I suppose you could say. And although there was the opportunity to go for the force, I think MIBR decide against it because they know forcing this early on, if it doesn't work out for them, it wouldn't be a great try they could muster. That could probably just be the final nail in the coffin. They have traded up to the AK, and Sani not for the first time, and not really surprisingly, is the man to get them into this with a winning headshot. But the problem is they have conceded another bomb plant, and there's not really that many opportunities for them to get success.
Yeah, I think just look at the Molotovs that are left here. There's no way they're coming through this, but I think they're just looking for more kills, to be honest, which I don't even blame them for. That is such a disrespectful kill onto Flit, because with the USPs, when you've got the head armor, it's not just a one headshot. It sounds like you're just getting dinked over and over again. It feels so bad, but... at the end of the day, it is just an AK that's given over, and the round, I think, was never really in jeopardy. So 10-4. I think they're going to be fine with it here, VP. Probably quite happy to just have a bit of an easier time. Wow, this has been much more one-sided than our first series that you and I casted with FUT and Heroic. There was definitely a lot of back and forth and pretty action-packed, but I feel like MIBR have not really shown up yet. What is going on?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, honestly. They just don't seem to pack that punch. I mean, Asani is trying his best, but it's not as if he's had a ton of success, you know? It feels like each of his kills are fairly impactful, but he's only got 6 of them. Klim has been the standout player, realistically, over on the CTs. But there's so many different facets and faces that VP can bust out at any given moment. And this time it's going to be aggression. They slip on that mask with ease. And although counter flashes are good, Breno tries to get aggressive and flip punishes him before nearly spraying Klim through the smoke. Minimal damage inflicted to Klim, but it is a 3-on-3.
Great return for Klim, but also, you know, just knowing the lineup there has made a whole difference. Kick it outside of B, and we've got exit towards the cave itself. They don't really know anything about the middle yet, but you could see exit really wants to find out. He's thinking about turning that corner, but not quite going to be doing it. Forward position for Fame towards the red room. Always a central position. If you can control this on the T side, you are in control of the rotations, but Klim is back. He's up to 14 kills right now, starting to really have an impact in the game. And honestly, it's kind of now or never for MIBR. If they want a chance to make a nice comeback in the second half, I think they do desperately need this round. Icy will go and plant the bomb for Donuts. There is an HE on Toro, and that could be important if they try and smoke off Donut there with the smoke on Kickard. That one HE could make the difference.
Yeah, dropping all of his utility across there because Klim is low HP. And so I'd imagine they're going to bait him out first, let him go in, absorb the bullets, and then try and play around it. But they've got to get a move on here. Kickert needs to start making moves into Donut. Although they do have a kit. Already half that fuse is gone. And Klim does get the headshot onto Icy, but still falls down. And as long as Icy stays alive, then maybe Toro can cook. But instead, he is put down by Kickert. An exit pre-fires around the corner. They needed that kill so quickly. Jump on the bomb with a defusal kit. It's going to be exceptionally close, but they do snatch it away. And MIBR just about hang on.
That is so crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, if anything had gone wrong, if he'd taken one more step forward before he turned around for the defuse, that's probably it. It's going to be over. So 10-5. And MIBR, they win the round. They survive with 2 players here. What a battle in the middle for Flit there. If he doesn't die to Klim, then it's on. I think they just have the round and maybe even the map here. But MIBR, they pull the emergency brake right as Disaster is about to strike, and maybe it's enough to bring them back. Look at how he's almost running out of range for that defuse, to be honest. Into the next one we go. Flitz traded out. He could not escape, but it's a nice boost looking over. Toro wants to try and see if he can find any kind of action towards the ramp. Smoked off for a while here, unfortunately.
And it is the main man of Klim that is taking down the process. By far the best performing player thus far on Ancient. Is that a heavy cost, though? Because they lose Flit, who's on a bit of a heater himself, and Fame gets tagged down to 16. So that trade not too bad for MIBR. Unconfirmed damage through the smoke for the most part, but exit up close is perched up and looking to try and get those claws working. Oh, Reno moving around the back. Kicker takes a lot of damage. I think he can find the timing. He does. He shuts him down. Now, it's not the bomb carrier, but instantly, MIBR now are going to force VP to get more aggressive, but be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And Perfecto and Icy slap away exit and Kicker in the process. Now have a chance to get on the bomb site and plant.
That is disastrous. There's absolutely nobody here. Breno is sneaking in, and I think he saw just a tip of Toro there. No idea that he's sneaking up behind. They both are, in fact. Got so many grenades as well. If they just get one good kill, they could block them out. But oh, Perfecto, what? He spins around for a headshot onto Breno? That looked disgusting. Toro on point as well. This VP team is looking very sharp at the moment.
Oh, man. You're feeling like that is the most grotesque outcome at the end if you're MIBR. Like, they expected a double pump on ramp. That's crazy. And the timing as well, like you said, could not have been worse. But when it rains, it pours. And MIBR right now are in a bit of a torrential downpour, the way this is feeling. They had the pieces, right? Like, they had that rotation around the back. Breno struck and backstabbed. It felt like they'd done enough to put VP into an awkward spot, but it was the fact they lost those 2 players in Cave that basically let this one come crumbling down. MIBR have got to do way better. Exit had a good position and completely missed out on his spray. 4 and 10. It's been a rough game for him, but that kill there, honestly, could have turned the tide. And instead, MIBR are 1 foot out of this map already.
Yeah, it just feels like they've kind of got going a little bit too late. Klim has been trying his best. Kick it and Sani are starting to wake up, and Unfortunately, Exit and Breno, I think, are too low on the board right now, and it's very, very late in the hour to try to turn this game around. 11-5, don't quite have the funds, and VP, they seem to be going stronger and stronger. I mean, they started well, but now I feel like, you know, Perfecto and Toro started to get kills. Flit's been playing well all along. They're getting more and more people activated at the moment, so they're not even really slowing down. Bit of a stack on the A side, I say a stack, but a bit of a boost, I suppose. 2 people, though. And also a boost on the other side for B. So they've got a lot of things covered at the moment here, but it's a slim chance to make it. Kick it with the M4. Everybody else on pistols.
Go looking. Let's find the intel he's looking for. Trying to bait them into Insani, but yeah, those USPs going to do little to nothing. Just be like a paper cut to VP. The M4A1S, though, that's more packing a punch. And here's a pretty damning statistic as well. Out of the entirety of MIBR, only 1 player has successfully got any opening duels. And that's Insani. He is currently 3-3. Combine that with Flit, he's 5-2 right now.
That's, yeah. I mean, that explains a lot about what we've been seeing and why this game has felt pretty suffocating for MIBR. Just unable to really get anything going. Good utility being set up, a smoke on either side of the box. We got the Molotov going down. Everything that you could possibly want here. 1 HE on Kick It. I suppose if they blow open the smoke and surprise them, there is a way to make this happen, but they're going to boost over instead, and they get knocked off the boost with an HE. Never mind. No chance whatsoever. VP will make their way to 12 here, and they've been speed running this ancient map, trying to escape with the rifle. They could grenade over the wall, to be honest, but they're going to do it the old-fashioned way, just run him down with the rifles instead, and doesn't matter how many people they lose. They'll take it away 12-5.
Yeah, this kind of feels as like a GG go next. And as I was talking about Flit's opening duels, he actually just extended that to 6-2. And again, only 3 in total, all in the favor of Insani. When you also look at the multi-kills as well, like 3 players from VP are around the 5 mark. It's only Klim that has any multi-kill rounds to speak of. It's been so one-sided on the stat page, man. Like it very much reflects the 12-5 scoreline.
And this is their map pick as well, right? It might be a picked Ancient, so it's sort of devastating news that you're not able to get the machine up and running by, you know, before it's too late. Like, you can't have these kind of slow starts to try and fight your way back. Obviously, road back into this game is crazy long at the moment. Breno jiggling the corner, just incendiary in hand. Fine as far as obviously, but if he gets sniped here, then none of that matters. All right, he's going to throw it out based on the flashbang, so smoke up. He knows they could be coming through. Scared that they're going to try and jump up on him, but only 1 player in the middle. That's Perfecto sneaking around, so when VB gets smoked off like that, it does take them a lot of time to reset them on the map. They're going to spend a good, 15 seconds before they really could do anything else again.
And this scoreline is very much par for the course as well, because when you take out domestic lineups and matchups out of the equation for their previous Ancient performances, by the way, and you look at how they fared against EU teams, they lost 13-4 to Heroic, 13-5 to 3D Max, 13-5 to Astralis.
Oh,
I mean, it's almost identical to what we're seeing right now.
Okay. That's not that encouraging. I mean, obviously, now that they've got a couple of new players on the lineup, MIBR, I'm sure they're looking to change that statistic, but it doesn't look like it's going to be right now. Insani creeping around in the back, but the deep Molotovs there will make sure he can't really do anything. Look at how close it is to burning him out completely. Another Molotov lands, and now finally he's going to get a fair chance to take a battle here. Dink onto Icy in the back, but he somehow lives. That M4 not able to bring him down, and the bomb is ticking away. Not that much utility left on the T side. They're going to go and try and see if they can take the fight right to the doorstep of MIBR. They're very low. Grenade around the corner. Might be a double, and it will be. Fame with a touchdown. Breno and Exit trying to get back, but I doubt it's going to happen. Exit's been having a tough game here, and Icy will shut it out. 13-5, an absolute destruction of MIBR on this opening map.
Incredibly one-sided, yeah. Like, it even felt like it was more one-sided than a 13-5, all things considered. Like, you have to factor in as well that, like, one of those 2 pistol rounds, it went the way of MIBR. Out of their 5 rounds they picked up, 2 of them were off the back of the first pistol, and then he managed... Well, I suppose we'll see if these 2 teams agree with you and if they are going to exploit that, because we are ready to jump in to what could be our final map of the day here on the B stream. One of these teams is going to move forward and maybe taste glory, and the other one is going to be left in the back and eliminated. It's that simple.
Yes, and nobody wants that at the moment. I think VP, they are desperate for some sort of success here. Not that MIBR wouldn't love it too, but I suppose for MIBR it's a bit easier to sort of wave away and excuse it and say, yes, but we've got this new lineup that's international all of a sudden, and we need some more time. I think for VP, sure, IC's here instead, but they need success. They need some sort of a headline to show that they've got something cooking, and honestly, that first map is impressive. Here we go. We're into the second map. We've got 1 smoke, 1 Molotov, classic grenades for an execute on towards the B bomb site. Right now, they're going to be checking the Pop Dog hallways here. Checking it in a noisy way. I don't know if I love it, but... oh, is that a push? Look at Insani. He's all the way towards T-spawn. This is sick. With the dualies, they should be starting to rotate people over to B really soon. The more they can get, the better. This is a very nice play for Insani.
It's a nice play, but it does seem like VP are ready to just go ahead and start to push forward here. Every second that they delay this execute is going to become harder and harder for them to hold on to this plant. Assuming the plant does go down in the first place, Breno just needs to hold his position. If he can get a kill on top of it, then all the better. And both players do take quite a bit of damage here. The bomb gets planted down, but now Insani's moved up with those Julies, and he's going to start to rattle some domes. It's got so precarious for VP all of a sudden. Icy holds his ground and gets 1, but he's traded out, and down goes Perfecto. Klim with a triple on those Julies, and the flank works out perfectly.
That's so sick. All the kills, dually headshots coming in. You love to see it. It's good recovery. Bomb is planted, yes, so VP are still going to have a decent buy there, but Insani was initiating that whole thing by pushing up and flanking them, allowing for a really good setup there. So VP, kind of half the battle won, but not all the way there. Look at this here. Takes a while. I said headshots, maybe not for Insani, but it'll get the job done anyway. The Klim here, a little bit more crisp. My God, that's quick on the second one.
Why don't my Julies work that Anders? Because I'm emptying the entire magazine and getting no kills. I'm just trash, I guess.
I just don't buy them for that reason, It's not even worth it.
Well, no full investment into this round. VP did have the option after the plant came through. They decide against it, and they do hemorrhage a player early doors in the form of Flit. It's that man, once again, that you expect to see on the scoreboard early on, Insani. Another opening jewel in his favor. And VP on the back foot, but still having a couple of deagles, so they can make this a costly round. I do like, though, that MIBR, they've got the pick they were looking for, and they're clumping together, playing longer range with these rifles. They're not overextending. They're not getting a bit too ahead of themselves and pushing main or anything like that. They're holding back and expecting that VP, they have to blink first.
Think of how interesting it is that VP didn't buy in this round. I mean, it's not even a question that we ask anymore. We just automatically assume that if you plant the bomb, you're buying in the second round. So I'm very curious about how that plays out. Reno, good shots here. Bomb plant. I mean, again, because they didn't buy, it's not even the end of the world that they don't get it. It would have been, I guess, a fun bonus to have, but it doesn't really matter that much. To be honest, a lot of teams have been struggling mightily picking up T rounds on this particular map. So maybe this is VP's way of saying we just cherish the T round so much that we want, the best possible weapons to try and make it happen instead of trying to do like a force up in the second round. But yeah, it's just interesting. I feel like I don't even think about it anymore. I just automatically assume they're buying if they're planting.
Yeah, I was thinking if it might be a case of them holding off so that Ice could get an early AWP. He was on 56k. 56k, he wishes. He was on 5.6k. And so he could have got the AWP with no Kevlar behind it. So he decided against that. Klim, though, getting tagged down in the halls, does have an AWP of his own. They've heard that now. That's information gathered. And they managed to force away the CTs. And done a little bit of damage and expended a bit of utility on top of it. Still plenty of time on the clock, though. And Klim can now just dart back and play way more deep passive angles. It looks like he might be joining Exit here to watch Ivy. So this effectively keeps Breno all alone on B site.
It's one of the most difficult jobs, in my opinion. Solo anchoring that B bomb is so important to stay alive. Don't even think getting kills is the most important part of that job. Just don't die. He's got a little bit of backup now. Exit is sort of behind him with a FAMAS somewhere. The rest of them in the yard, I think especially with that AWP on Klim, is going to be really important. Klim was the only one that was really showing up. So they're going to fake a B attack here, and then they will presumably run back and split the A bomb side through main and top dog. With 40 seconds left, I don't know, it could work. Look at the grenades already pulling people back towards the connector, so it is working. They are distracting enough. There's a fourth member rotating back. They are really buying this, but now that they find Fame, they instantly turn around. MIBR, they're very, very quick to get back to this A side. That's actually a sick counter rotation coming out here for the CT side, and it should be enough, I think, to win them the round as well. Icy goes down. Toro looking for the headshot, but Klim, rock solid in the back, even pulls out the dualies for good measure to take down Flit. That was very well played, but he had actually rotated out. They had rotated almost 4 people to the B bomb side, and then that one kill on Fame made them turn around.
And I've got to say, although it's Klim that picks up the bulk of those kills and he's up to 6-0, a lot of that round actually rests on the shoulders of Insani. He was playing that E-box angle. He got the first kill and stopped the initial charge, kind of like stalled it out, stopped the main push from having any success, and then dinked his second player before he went down. He had so much impact, even if he just had 1 kill on the scoreboard, and that activated Klim to put his AWP to use. Really, really well played again from the star player on MIBR.
Oh, this is a great, refreshing beginning for MIBR, the way that this is playing out. From losing that first map without even a chance to do anything. Now, coming into your opponent's map pick, again, gotta reiterate, they are playing on the more favorite side here, and they did win the pistol, so those are all signs that things are going to be, you know, a little bit easier. But hey, if they can come away with the first, 4 or 5 rounds here before VP can even get activated on the T side, that's definitely worth thinking about.
Yeah, I think if VP can get sort of 4 or 5 rounds, they're going to be happy with this. Very happy with this T half.
Yeah, I think that's all you need.
Yeah, no panic button being pressed just yet. I think they'll be relatively calm and composed at this stage. Yeah, a couple of disappointing outcomes. They could have had a round or 2 already. Flashes and Molly's now going to be coming in, and Kicker on an island of fire will go down. They've got the kill they were looking for. They've opened up, and they should be able to get a bomb plant out of this.
Hey, I mean, that's definitely something. Maybe they could even turn into something more. Breno in a weird position. Vector's right down underneath him and catching Klim off guard, and he wants to take him down, but Icy's covering him. I don't know how they've turned this around. VP, they're getting back into this round in a big way. Icy with the dink and the headshot onto Insani will drop him. It's him and Perfecto in the 2v1, and they end up winning it. So that is a round where VP probably should have been just happy getting the bomb plant, but they actually win it.
Oh, and that is devastating in multiple facets. More so the economy, like the bigger picture now looks grim. Look at the overall stature of the money on MIBR. Like you won 3 rounds unanswered. They were scrappy. You lose 1 and you have barely any cash in the bank. The accountant in tears right now, looking at the fact that everyone below $500, some at 0. So VP could go easily from 3-0 to 3-2 or 3-3 in a heartbeat here.
Yeah, that would be so deflating for MIBR, because we're just talking about this, potential great setup. I was sort of almost assuming that it was going to be a 4-0 lead, but that could disappear very, very quickly. You're absolutely right. Backing off a bit towards B. Heavy setup on Ivy. I was introducing the map saying not a lot of teams know how to use Ivy at the moment, and that's really annoying. I think Ivy is such a fun part of the game if you can make it work. So VP looking to see if they can test that proposition. Very, very deep smoke. It goes through Icon and it kind of cuts off half of Ivy so that you can try and push through and just hug the left-hand side as you come in. But the counter utility is there, trying to slow them down. 55 seconds. Oh, they're going to grenade their way through. They really want this, but they boost on over. Oh, they fall off. It's going to save. They could actually see something. I don't think anyone is expecting that on the T side. Toro with a stunning headshot to begin with. And Exit, he's in some trouble. If he dies, I think the round is practically over. Klim surely cannot defend the bomb side on his own.
That smoke is going to fade momentarily, and once it does, Klim should be a dead man. But Flip's running in because of the low time, and I thought that may give Klim an opportunity. Instead, he sent packing. 20 seconds left. Perfecto, bomb in hand, is having to run across. That smoke is going to give him a bit of reprieve, a bit of a sanctuary for the time being. In fact, with the kill from IC, that probably is MIBR saving. Mainly based off what we discussed at the start of this round, their money is just in tatters. At least you have something to play with. You can save these two A1Ss, but it is a bitter pill to swallow. And I do love that utility. It kind of goes back to one of the things that you were discussing before about Ivy maybe being a problematic area, Anders.
Yeah.
That smoke they threw in, like you said, it divided the angles they had to watch out for by half and made it way easier to get Toro in there. And the kill he picked up, the first entry in that round, is 50% or more preparation. His crosshair placement was exquisite. Didn't have to move a millimeter. Just insta-tap for the headshot.
That is really sick. You're right. He's been a lot of fun. Good times. Going to be a second round for them. And like you said, a couple of rifles saved here for MIBR. M-Force in the back. Yeah, that is... I do agree that smoke does solve... I don't know if it solves the whole problem with Ivy, but it solves one of the problems. And MIBR... I don't know, if they could have blown open the smoke themselves, I think that would have been an interesting idea, but they decided to try and boost over it, which I'm sure it can work in one way or another. I saw there's another boost you can do from back there somewhere. I think Chad was tweeting about it yesterday. So there are different options for boosting over to try and look over the various smokes on the map, but not easy to make it work in the moment, and they didn't quite actually find a kill with it, so unfortunate. So we go into the next round after hopefully not too long. Seeing all the paperwork in front of them. My God, they've got notes.
Oh, yeah. No shortage of preparation. A really important game for VP. A great opportunity to get this Perfecto-led squad up to some early success and remove some of those residue effects that a lot of people, I'm sure, think about with VP at this point. So why the hell not? Double nades in, not really going to affect Breno, and he looks like he wants to try and take the charge. He's made a lot of noise there, and that flashbang, of course, the pop flash is going to kind of give away the play regardless. Molotov is there designated to allow Fame to go for the wide swing, not get peeped from Pop Dog for the time being. But Klim, he decides to get aggressive outside of Ivy.
Yeah, I like it. You might as well. You need some miracle to bring this one back, and you can actually see that his position is allowing, or they're taking the risk of stacking the B bomb site behind it. So they're just saying, we just hope that they don't go only main and Pop Dog. If they do, then we don't have a chance. But otherwise, we've got Ivy with advanced warning. Oh, they're pushing in. I don't know if I like this, though. There's still two people behind, so there is a chance that it's going to work as a bit of a surprise, but unfortunately, they're both going to get caught off guard, and I don't know, you already had the stack. You already kind of had what you wanted here. Now, instead, you've given them a way to weaken the defense. And yeah, the flank is coming in from Klim eventually. One of these days. Might be another hour before he actually gets there.
It's that kind of rolling of the dice mentality when you have a way worse firepower utility, you know, in every single facet, to go for those kind of Hail Mary plays. But I do agree, when you've got the stack, I mean, it's easy for us to say, I guess, from our perspective, we have all the information, right? Like, we can see what the players are. From
Yes.
MIBR, they may have been concerned they were about to get wrapped around, because keep in mind, the one player that wasn't on B was Klim, who'd moved around Ivy. They effectively had nobody on A side, so they may have been scared about being pushed through on connector side or even wrapped around the back. So I can kind of understand. It didn't work out for them, but, you know, they can go again into the next round regardless.
Yeah, see if Exit can save the M4. I mean, you're not wrong. It is obviously a lot easier when you've got the minimap to look at. But I just feel like sometimes, like, you're never going to be able to cover everything anyway. So you just have to make a set of assumptions and say, if, you know, there are like 5 things that can happen, we can cover for 2 of them. If the rest happen, we kind of can't do anything, you know? I feel like if you try and play to cover all of the bases, it's probably going to be chaos anyway. So at least in some of these rounds where you don't have too much going into it. It's unfortunate, but not for VP. They are enjoying life at the moment. It looked like such a bad start for them, but now they're tied up 3-3, and it suddenly turned into a brilliant beginning for them. T-sided train, pretty unforgiving. The fact that they're already at 3 rounds has really changed the story of this map quite a bit.
Yeah, stark contrast to how this map started, that's for sure. And I said before, like, the panic button won't be getting pressed at 3-0. Icy has just been nailed through the smoke and flashbang, courtesy of Klim, though, who now focuses his attention back over onto the Ivy side. Flash is going to force him away, but it doesn't really do much in terms of closing the gap. So a good opening pick on Klim, and really needed when you consider that there is a distinct lack of utility across the board in MIBR. They have smokes, but they don't have any HGs to blow open smokes, no Molotovs or anything to try and fend away the T. So getting that opening pick is so valuable.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Still got 1 minute and 10 seconds, and there's 2 smokes picked up, so that could be a bit of an issue. Otherwise, once you have the opening on the CT side like this, when you're playing 4v5, the fact that you've not got 2 in B and 3 on A, it feels so good that you've got everything covered. By the way, this particular position for exit that he's in now is the one that I keep talking about that you can Molotov out. In fact, if you're Fame and you walk forward and crouch into that arch, you can throw the Molotov from there. And it gets not just the close corner of the actual hut, it covers the entire plateau up there, the entire platform. So it's just so efficient, and nobody's doing it, and it drives me crazy. 30 seconds. I've got my little things, you know. Yeah, this entire plateau could be burned out. No, every time. It's not even. There's no. The fail rate on it is 0. Perfecto going to throw another great Molotov way back there. Nice to be able to do it, because you can't obviously blow that away. And Sani jumping in to try and help out. It's exit to go down. Trying to spray in. Breno down to 4 bullets, and that is not enough. Insani, though, has got a kill in the meantime, and Famous alone with 4 seconds. You cannot win the round here. Just wouldn't have been able to get that bomb planted really ever. So MIBR, they stand their ground, and they get a good rotation in time. Insani, at the end of it, it looked a bit wild for him to run through the Molotov, but it turned out to be a really good idea.
Yeah, because of the time, he knew that he could cause enough disruption and chaos to just outright win the round based off of time, if nothing else. And now they have picked up those 2 AKs from the corpses of VP, plus the AWP. So they'll be feeling pretty good right now, even if their money is still hanging by a thread. The same could be said on some of the VP players as well. They've had to go into their bank balance and dig pretty deep. Very evenly poised right now as the HE's landing just outside of the Pop Dog entrance. Flash out, and that does bait as if a potential pop flash peak would come in. That's why Icy desperately takes the shot and backs away, but it's not forthcoming on MIBR. They do get a bit of intel, though. They know the AWP is outside of Ivy for the time being.
Yeah, that could be important, right? Having the lockdown on where that position is. Definitely indicates that something is up. It's rare for the AWP to be pushing Ivy alone. It does happen, but not that often. My God, he's lucky to get out with that headshot. Well played for Flit. Annoying for Kicker, no doubt, but Breno, he's aware there's going to be another push. That's great game sense for him. Unfortunately, he can't hit the headshot on Fame. Insani there to trade it back. It's a 2 versus 3, and the advantage with MIBR once again. Toro, not a good fight for him to run down the stairs like that. Leaves Icy. I guess if he could find Klim, the round is back on, but could see the timing here is going to be everything. Klim stepping closer. I don't think you need to. The bomb is at the bottom of the ramp. I'm glad that he's just kind of stuck here. If he keeps going, I would say nobody's there now, but it's so risky. You already have the bomb there. You don't need to take any more risks.
I think Icy's already setting up to save this AWP, to be honest.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so he's been playing this, because if he'd held that angle, he'd have had the drop on Klim for sure. But yeah, he will go ahead and save. And they can buy behind it. Like, a couple players are low in terms of their money, but this does afford them the luxury of going back in and running it back. And again, go back to that key point. Like, you're on T side of train. You're already in a pretty good spot. Plotting his next holiday for the time being off those timetables. But yeah, 5-3 will be the score. It's good to see that MIBR, though, aren't going to completely collapse and capitulate, because that definitely happened over on Ancient. But they are standing their ground, and Breno has been a really solid B-side player. I agree with you. It's historically one of the hardest positions to play well. I even remember going way back to the VP days of old, where Taz was their designated inside player on B, and he was always just a real nuisance, a real pain in the ass. And Breno is showing a lot of that same kind of resolve right here.
Yeah, it's really good work. I wonder if, because VP have been playing a lot of these rounds, you know, quite slowly. It would be interesting to see if they wanted to go for like a faster. I think especially those splits through Pop Dog. You can actually run them very quick, and it'll often catch whoever is on the CT side is playing that E-box. So just because they've been going so slowly now, changing the pace towards the end of the half here, it could be enough. And they haven't taken any timeout either, so it could just be enough to sort of catch them off guard. Going to be a smoke going down for the diagonal, and they are setting up for what could be a bit of a split, but it looks like it's going to be a slower one once again, so they're not really going straight for it. Nice position for Icy. Got to be careful if you're peeking this one exit, but he's not getting close to that at the moment.
Slowing down the pace here on VP. Haven't been necessarily too aggressive. Haven't seen any straight up rushes for the most part. And when you have like Tech9s and like a kind of a crappier buy, these are the kind of moments where a lot of teams would. Obviously, Icy having the AWP though is going to slow down their intentions. And having a quick look across as well, by the way, with this very lineup that we have on the server for VP. Oh, big pick on Flit though. They have a 70% win rate on their CT side. So again, it just factors into the best is certainly yet to come from VP, and any extra rounds at this point will be a nice bonus on top.
There was a flashbang that was thrown over the wall against Insani, and it just didn't seem to do anything to him. So I kind of wonder if that was a fail nade or what was going on there. But yeah, I think it's worth keeping in mind what you said about the statistics. This is the flash that I think they meant to throw against the Insani. Surely that would have worked, but didn't seem like it touched him at all. More being set up, deep grenades to try and land back there and put some more pressure on the defense. Only 27 seconds. Up close is Fame. He's going to get the first one. There's a player in the smoke, but Clem, even though he's point blank range, going to get the kill. Exit picks up a double, and another round that goes the way of MIBR. Very, very nice hold here. Look at how many people are dead, even just in the main position there. 3 Ts that fall without even getting onto the yard.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a couple of cracks appearing, not just in VP's specific T side, but just generally how difficult it is to kind of unshackle yourself from these kind of close-knit, awkward angles to push out from. Like, they took their sweet time on the approach, and like you say, like, they're basically boxed in and just got nailed where they stood. And although it's a really nice shot from Klim, I think the fact that kind of Flit had no other options but to re-peek the same angle, he just picked up another player a few moments beforehand, didn't help him at all. But yeah, it does feel like maybe a change of pace is in order for VP at this point. We haven't seen them go straight up, you know, run and gun, really fast execute out of A main in particular. And this won't fare any better. They're respecting the amount of grenades tossed into A main early doors from MIBR, and they're going to try and let Icy open up the round and really try and crack open this defense.
I love it. Using the AWP as an entry tool. It's high risk, but potentially quite high reward as well. There we go. Jumping down in front of him, trading out against Perfecta or against Briano is exactly what they needed next. Game will lose his life, but the bomb has been secured. They're going to try and pick up some of these rifles. Flit has got his hand on an AK and see if they could get anything more behind it. Insani back here, hoping that someone's going to be daring, but you'd love to see VP be very, very conservative in the after plant. Don't want to be fighting too much. Let MIBR spend the time to try and get closer.
Oh, it'll open the smoke, and it'll do land a headshot onto the defending Toro, who's been finished off from the HE. But this is where you need that AK or AWP to come through. And there are kits, there is utility, and Icy can't do too much about this. Tries to flick up, but he realizes this round is lost. There's enough time for this defuse. It was looking so good for VP with a really slick opener, but it will not yield the round. Icy can hold on to the AWP at the very least, and they do make MIBR sweat for it, but a 7th round is perched up regardless.
I know this is just, you know, perfect hindsight and all the rest of it, but the reason I said I wanted them to play conservative is if they had been crouched down so that they couldn't have been grenaded, and I think at the end, Exit gets a second kill towards this high ground position against Split. If both those players are far back, look at how little time was left in the round for the defuse. If they just hide in the corners, that's it. I don't think MIBR have enough time to even go for the defuse, even if they get all the kills. And yeah, I think VP, there was no reason they had to show themselves, not to get dinked and grenaded, not to try and take the fight from the high ground, just stay alive and let them spend the time. They gave them a big opportunity to get back in, and they used it as well. A credit to MIBR, that's actually not necessarily an easy retake. They just made it look kind of easy by hitting some great shots.
And VP didn't do themselves too many favors either. Icy was watching the back the entire time, so it wasn't really a part of that fight until it was too late anyway. like you say, hindsight 2020. They have to focus on the present, and that sees VP with a solid buy. Flit looking to try and sneak his way around the corner here and put down a ton of pain onto A main side. Lynn's watching up close. This angle is pretty strong, though, because it's not really affected by flashes over the top, which are typically thrown into the A execute side. You'd have to pop flash around the corner to get rid of this angle. And look at the time again, man. Like, taking every single second allocated, it's not worked out for them so far, and I'm not sure it's going to make a difference here.
Yeah, I agree. The incendiary going down as well to slow them. I'm really nervous. This is a lot of time off the clock. 25 seconds. I'm going to go right to be nervous, Vince. They try to get out. It's Flit to get the headshot onto Insani. Nice flick on a Clem here, but Flit is determined to try and get this plant at the very least. 15 seconds on the clock here. Oh, but Toro through the smoke exit to stop him. And now it's panic in the VP camp. They picked up the bomb again, but they've got 6 seconds. Headshot from Flit. He's trying to save everything, but he's being run down. Exit to get it. Yes, they get the bomb, but it doesn't matter. Oh, Flit, he needed one teammate to help him out, and it would have been enough.
It's so smart from Exit, though, man. Like, he's up to 11 kills.
Yeah.
He had a rough Ancient, but he's played well. When you look at the Execute and how it came through there, you had a smoke on the front side of the site, not on Connector. There was a Molotov to the back side of the site, not on Connector again. And so the only place they could safely plant was exactly where Exit pre-fired through the smoke. And he sees there's 10, 12 seconds left on the clock, so of course he's going to go for it. The A1S, not perfect for that. Typically, you want the A4 for the extra 10 bullets, but he has the perfect timing and the perfect angle based off the communications of what his teammates have told him where the utility's gone down. That isn't a lucky shot. That is completely planned.
So well done. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Triangulated to perfection. And then towards the end here, understanding that if he fakes it, maybe that's how you could lose the round if you're Exit. But if he goes for it, you've automatically won. Very well done. 8-3. And going into round number 12 here. We already said, you know, for VP, having 3 rounds, it means they're still competitive. 4 would probably be quite kind of nice, but MIBR still should be feeling pretty good. I just want to warn everyone not to get too carried away, because we've seen this so many times in the past where somebody plays well on the CT side and then they disappear from the T side.
That's true. That is true. What's giving me more faith, though, is that a completely flat performance on Ancient, and now we're having more individuals showing up, which is really required on the T side more so. Winning those duels so important. And even if VP do pick up a 4th round here, because they've been a little bit lackadaisical in some of these rounds that they probably should have picked up, it puts even more pressure on that pistol. Because you lose the pistol, you are in serious trouble. So let's see if they can pick up a 4th, or if this is going to go the way of MIBR once again.
I think he might be dead if he keeps walking out. Ooh, no, he's going to win the fight against Kicker. That looked like he was looking the wrong way. Deep incendiary, but FaZe there to follow it up. And now Exit run down by Toro. This is the kind of entry onto the site that they've been kind of yearning for. This is so straightforward. There's plenty of time on the clock. You almost wonder, why couldn't they have tried this a little bit earlier, VP? Why did they have to make it so complicated in some of these other rounds that they ran out of time and they were trying to go for these, you know, wild 3-way splits and all the rest of it? Just get out main and fight them straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on this a couple of times, like, when are they going to dial up the speed meter? You know, and it never really happened until the very end. Meanwhile, though, Clem's position is now compromised. He's a known quantity, and Perfecto will seal the deal. A 4th round on the T side. It is about half the course, I'd say, for how Train typically plays out. And we know that VP CT side is strong with this 5-man roster as well, not just with like different replacement players, but with these guys. Their CT side is normally rock solid, but we have to see if they're going to be able to pick up that pistol. I think this round is extremely important, more so than usual.
Let's see what they do here. Train is a map for pistol rounds where there are some wild executes. That could be done. I mean, you don't have to do anything crazy on the T side, but if you're feeling up for it, there's a lot of fun. One of my favorite things that we've seen really only a couple of times, I think, in CS2, is when you execute onto A, but you basically run through the C connector into B, and you catch the incoming CTs that are trying to rotate back to help out A. It's such a mind-bending experience if you're on the CT side and you think you're going to be running to help out A, and then you just run into a bunch of Glocks who are, you know, coming your way. So just to say that I think Train's a great map still. But MIBR, if they win this pistol, they haven't necessarily won the map, but they are getting very, very close to doing that. And obviously, that's what they need right now more than anything. Overpasses the deciding map if we can get there. They've made a great case for themselves, but I remain somewhat skeptical. I'm not convinced yet that they can do this.
But the other thing as well is, like, on Train, it feels like you do need to have different reads and different ideas, and MIBR are no strangers to aggression. And they also have Insani, one of the kind of crispest entry faggers at times when he needs to be, is playing well right now. So every little, like, win condition feels like it's lining up, but they haven't decided to rush out here. They're playing very passively. They've got 2 players left side. I'm not sure if Flit's seen that. By the way, he's jiggle peeking. I think he has.
Hey, he's certainly got an idea that it could be possible. I think Exit was going to go for the Icon smoke. So we'll see if that actually works out or not. Oh, Perfecto walking in towards Breno. This fight is very important here. A lot of confidence going to be gained. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Breno's ready. He was shuffling out the knife, I think, but now it's going to be a lot of pressure on the site. Flash goes over. Smoke up towards the bomb site itself. I don't know if that's a failed smoke or not, but either way, MIBR crouching closer towards the site here as Flit and Fame starting to crack some skulls. 3 people left on MIBR. They do need this pistol. It's really important. Exit gets another one. Gets them back in the round as well. 40 seconds. He's missing all the bullets. Finally connecting on to Klim. And Exit, no chance here. 1 versus 2. He's going to pick up the bomb and try and see if he can run down Fame. It's a good idea, but good awareness as well. And Flit's out in the open. I don't like it. Flit and Fame, they need to play together. I know he wanted to get closer there, but they have to find a way to make that a little bit more of a team effort. Exit crouching in. He's been playing so well on this second map, trying to get the fleet, but now he is in the open. It doesn't matter. Backpedaling and still getting the Glock headshot.
Exit, 15 kills, another clutch, but I do tend to agree with you, man. Like, you got to play it together. You got to play the numbers. Isolating one another into 2 separate 1v1s is a recipe for disaster, and that's exactly what gets put down into play here. Take nothing away from Exit. It's a great round from him individually, but yeah, VP not quite on the same script, and it is going to cost them dearly. They decide not to go in for an investment on this one, so you're expecting it to get 10-4.
I would have almost rather if they would have just met up in CT spawn and try to go together. I realized it's probably a hard call to make in the middle of that fight because there's so much action, but you just felt like, yeah, you were allowing Exit to isolate those kills. Well played for Exit as well. That's by the book Counter-Strike how you want to try and play that kind of 1v2 is just make sure you don't fight them at the same time. Mac 10 to start with. They get a kill, and they are running down this bomb site. Now, there's a lot of people coming out of the smoke. It's going to be shorter. Oh, they're right into the blender. Unfortunately, that is not going to work out. So, not a single casualty here. MIBR marching forward, up to 10 now.
Kicker doubles his kill tally up to 4 now from that round. A bit of a rough one for him individually, but everyone else in his team is pulling the slack, no problems. 10.5 for him. Yeah, 10-4, VP with their first rifle purchase on this CT side. It's going to be missing a few things here and there, though. Most notably, no AWP for IC. He is very much an AWPer primarily. Going back into that hybrid conversation we had yesterday, IC is an AWPer for sure. And they've got a lot of grenades down into A main. They've kind of bullied their way in here. They need to be careful because out comes Kickert and they deal with him. No loss of health whatsoever, but it has given over the long dog approach, and Exit's going to make the most of that one, but they're hemorrhaging players.
Yeah, Flit, well aware that someone could be coming through. Going to be good to go for Klim as well. Exit alone, even though he's been playing a great game, this is just asking way too much. The bomb is miles away. And he's been spotted in the back here. He's 17-5. What a sick map it's been for Exit individually. And to be honest, with a minute on the clock, if he can find 2 more kills in a round like this one, that would be huge. Looks like the timing is not quite with him. I think Flit's position here is almost unbeatable. It's such a weird off angle. Oh, it's not unbeatable. All right, I guess that's it. It's pretty sick.
He's playing on a whole different level to what we saw on Ancient. He had a really rough one. I think at one point he was 4-10 on Ancient, I seem to recall. And yet here we go, 18 kills. And I think he was anticipating that a rotation around the back was very likely, but like you say, it's like there's so many angles that you have to contend with, and he just chooses right. Even though Flit saw the shoulder before the head peeked round the corner there. Still nails him. And it looks like that kill in tow will save his AK without too many problems. Because of the reason you highlighted, like, you can't afford to lose a third player here on VP because it's going to do so much damage towards being able to afford all the utility you want, also putting the rifles in play. So you have to just bitterly tap out of this one and accept that you got the round win, but one player does survive.
Yeah, there's no point in hunting down too much more, I think. I guess that's the right eye, left eye peek situation that's happening up there in the hallway. Might have looked a bit different from Exit's point of view. Still, it's a nice shot, and it does cost them a little bit more than they would have wanted their VP, but they win the round. I think that's the only important thing. So, picking up some M4s to go with it. No scopes in play yet on the CT side. They do have that 1 AK on Toro as well.
To put it in perspective, by the way, the crazy turnaround from Exit, he has triple his kill tally already on Train as opposed to Ancient. He only had 6 frags at the end of that one, so a real turn of fortune.
That's sick. I mean, you've got to give him a lot of credit here. If they get onto a third map, a lot of it's going to be on his shoulders, so strong individual. I mean, to be fair, the whole MIBR team looked so weird and absent on that first map. It's good to see that they are able to turn it around and show something more here. It's a timing, and then there's going to be a late flank coming in from Breno, but they really, I think, want to try and put some pressure on this B bomb site. We'll see if they're going to be able to set up on the stairs. All they need to do is get a good flash in here, and they're ready to go. 3 people defending, however. Flank is not going to be happening anytime soon. He's back towards T-spawn as they're opening up Exit, and Klim trying the best they can, but that incendiary will force Exit into the open, and good as he's been, it's too much to ask for. Breno, I'm not sure why he's running all the way back here. I feel like the better thing to have done would have been to try and go for the flank, assuming that the bomb was ever going to go down. I feel like that would have been the way to go. But regardless, they never really get the bomb planted. VP win another round, and this game is right open again. I know it looks like it's a bit one-sided with 10-6, but I promise you, VP have a good chance right now of winning the map.
Yeah, game is well and truly back on for sure, because this should be a gimme round. MIBR can't really muster together a proper buy. They may have some Tech 9s and Deagles, but that's basically going to be it. So you assume 10-7 on the horizon. Running into a couple of roadblocks. And again, I mean, even though Exit got 1 kill in this round, I feel like he did a lot of damage to another 2 players. He is lifting so heavy for the rest of his teammates right now. And it's kind of interesting because Insani's typically the guy that you look at to get those opening picks and like have a lot of the early impact, but it's Exit that's really taking over for his teammate. And,
you know,
well,
just quickly reading the chat as well, Vince, and typically people are just angry if they've made bets in the chat, but this one guy called Flavor of the Month, he says, Clem is such an online hero. Bro single-handedly cooked my fantasy team. I'm just glad to see people not angry at bets, but, you know, fantasy instead, that's good. It's good diversification, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it's always good to have people, yeah, Fantasy League in the bin. I can definitely relate to that one. I've had a pretty rough season so far, to be honest, but it is what it is. That's just me being trash rather than the players.
I keep wanting to do the fantasy game. I keep forgetting about it every time I make a team. I just forget halfway through, you know. So, but it's a good idea. I should get into it. I should pick it maybe like next year. I just start like the year, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm committed. You know, I'll set an alarm or something to make it happen. This, you're right, is a bit of a, you know, just kind of a break in the action. Should be no problem. Bomb plant, I guess, always a good idea. Try and go for it. Running out to plant the bomb is Exit. The grenade, though, shut him down. He was low on health. Perfecto. Yeah, you do need a gun. Knife's not going to do it. So, yeah, there we go.
He's just fortunate it was a Glock against him, so he could get away with that quick mistake. But here we go. This, yeah, back into the main course. It's been a very interesting back and forth, a tug of war between VP and MIBR here. It was incredibly one-sided. As you can see at the top of the screen there, it was a 13-5 on MIBR's choice of Train. If you didn't manage to catch that one, you didn't miss too much. It was a bit of a steamroll.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're just now tuning in, you could even be in time to see the VP comeback happening here. It's getting closer all the time, although rifles are back in the hands of MIBR, so Let's not count them out. I like the point that he brought up earlier about Insani and his ability to entry, and that's something that they're going to need right now. A couple of good rounds here with some entry kills, that's it. Then MIBR take the map and we're on to Overpass, but the longer it goes, the more tricky it's going to be.
Yeah, we've reached that point as well where I think it's safe to say that like the panic button might have been pressed by MIBR because they know the importance of this round. This is a fulcrum point as far as I'm concerned. You lose this and don't do much damage to the economy of VP, and we are effectively all tied up. I know the scoreline won't suggest it, but that is how CT-sided this is for VP in particular.
Yeah.
And of course, in the meta, it's the same thing, but especially for VP. So MIBR, the pressure is so much on. It's been applied directly to them. 45 seconds left. Some nades being tossed out, but a well-timed smoke to deal with them. This is going to keep them stalled a little while longer.
It's sick, and they had another smoke that's towards that pop dog position. They've been doing these smokes really well, VP. They know the split is coming, and they've absolutely read it perfectly. Backup is going to be there. There's a flank coming in from pop dog as well. Perfecto with a double kill. But I think that flank in pop dog, no one's going to read the timing. Look at how fast Fame is here. He was only needed for the one kill, but even if there had been more of a close struggle there, his timing is so fast that no one on the T side is going to expect it. I think from the way that they put down the smokes, you mentioned the one in main, they had another one about 10 seconds earlier that went towards Pop Dog. That is a brutal way to shut down a potential split from those two positions, which is exactly what MIBR were trying to do.
I was looking into it a little bit more in depth because I was really curious, like, is Insani on Train in particular the guy to watch out for as you expect on most other maps? Well, first off, his discrepancy between CT side and T side. 1.41 rating over 7 maps on CT side, a 1.08 on their T half. And on top of that, he is typically the guy that's taking the opening duels. Opening deaths traded percentage, 36%. That's insanely high. To put it in perspective, average is like 15 to 20. Yeah. So typically, if he's not going out and getting entries, MIBR basically are as flat as a fart on this half. That's basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's really brutal, unfortunately. New tech with the smokes being thrown. I love that. But yeah, that's an interesting stat to think about. We'll see if we could do anything here. Clem hoping to be the hero to open it up as the rest of them are rushing down towards Ivy, but the counter utility is there. It should slow them down. They're trying to run through with the smoke. It's a nice idea. Icy, 2 good shots on the AWP. They'll trade it back a bit, but I think most of the danger of this round is probably dissipated by now. Yes, they're going to be able to steal the rifle back here, but I don't know if they can go anywhere. They're pretty much stuck back here.
I mean, I think if you're MIBR, though, you would have taken a huge amount of faith in getting into this position when you basically had very little to play with. So you've got options. You've got an opportunity here. Yes, the bomb is down. They can quickly retrieve this one. But you've got an AWP. Breno and Exit still have a way forward, but there's no reason for VP to move from their current positions. Yes, they're not sure if they've pulled the plug and got out of here and started to wrap around on the T side. That is going to become more of a concern as time goes on, and that smoke is going to allow them to start to pull back, but there's a gap in there, and Breno makes the most of it.
That's so crazy. Suddenly the round is looking more doable. 35 seconds. Bomb is on that AWP. Exit is just trying to hide. He's hoping for a kill, but unfortunately, Breno cannot find the next one. He did so much, but unfortunately, it's not enough at the end of it. It's a very, very nice attempt. I'm very impressed that MIBR even got into this 2v2 at all. I don't think that should have happened, but look at the gap that's been closing. Was it like, is it 9-5 or 10-5 or something at one point, and now we're all the way up to a 1 round separating these two teams.
It's a really nice effort from MIBR. Should build a bit of confidence that this CT side is not impenetrable. There are potential chinks in the armor that they can exploit. Comes down to a real close 2-on-2. But still VP continue their winning ways. Now up to 5-6 rounds in a row. And by the way, another pretty damning stat here is out of those 5 rounds they've won in a row, only one of them has seen a bomb plant from the teams. Like, they haven't been able to plant often at all. They've just been choked out of these rounds.
And it adds up, right? It unfortunately, you know, the sort of the back-to-back-to-back rounds where you don't get the bomb plant, you're losing out on quite a bit of cash. So It's unfortunate. MIBR. T-side. It's just a story that we've seen so many times in the past, even for teams that really played this map a lot and enjoy picking it. Even those teams sometimes struggles with the T-side, so looks like it'll be more Ivy focused, but presumably they're going to try and fake like it is the split that they were doing earlier. So trying to see if they can make it look like that. Icy, though, that's a pickup at the beginning. Maybe could have had the shot, but I respect the fact that he's backing off. I think that's the right way to do it. He's already got the information. Flit's going to burn alive. There's only 40 seconds left. They're running the bomb back. Where can you go with the bomb at this stage? I guess they're going out main and just trying to get to the A site. But look at who's hiding for Perfecto. That's supposed to be a kill. What on earth is going on? They might get back in the round behind this. That needed to be the bomb on the ground, and that might have been the round dead in tracks.
Oh, such an important kill for Insani, though. Bodyguarding the bomb planter. Icy misses his chance. And realistically, the round should follow. Goes back in again. Takes down a weakened exit, but Insani, look how fast he rotates through CT spawn to change up the angles. He's anticipating that if Icy wants to go for this, his back would be turned at this point towards the site. And so Insani wants to try and shut him down. What a huge round from Insani once again.
It was, but honestly, I'm kind of mad at VP on this one too, because I think, I'm pretty sure if Perfecto wins that fight coming out of main, it slows down the push so much that I doubt it's going to be happening. So that's just, it's great work for Insani, I don't disagree, but also very, very disappointing for VP. That could have been their ability to almost take over the game. Maybe we need in a 2-0 fashion, but they've given a bit of room here for MIBR to do something. Flit burning alive is, I guess, a little bit unfortunate turn of events, but this one, Exit winning the fight against Perfecto, that should have never happened.
Yeah, Exit continues to be a real menace on MIBR. He's in a really special form, 22 kills. But when they needed a way to get onto the site, you asked, where can they realistically plant the bomb? That's where Insani went full entry god mode once again, as you expect from that guy. And they have that 2-round buffer once again, down to the dying embers of this map. Toro getting aggressive, but he is going to be spotted if he continues to push forward. They've actually turned their back. They have completely turned their back on this being a possibility. Once the nades come in, Toro may go for that peak.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No one's watching for it at the moment. It's so dangerous. Oh, there we go. Klim, he had his eye on it at the very least. They're not going to get completely shot in the back, but still, they're pushing onto the side. Fame hiding back here. Oh, it's great with the headshots. They walked straight into it. Normally, that could be a very hard position to get kills from. Bomb is still planted, though, and the round is not over yet. Very limited utility in the upper round for MIBR, so they kind of have to fight on the site itself. They take down Fame to begin with, and at the edge of the smoke, Perfecto, unable to do anything. Again, he falls to Exit. This was such a great start to the round for VP, but unfortunately, it might just not be enough here. Toro and Icy trying to get a bit closer. Good headshot from Toro. He takes down Exit, and now a smoke on top. He's going straight for it. If Klim misses one shot inside here, it's over. Icy to get it, and Toro straight on the defuse. A very, very labored retake, but VP will get it.
Oh, that was on a razor's edge, man. I thought Toro was going to throw his incendiary, but he actually held on to it. And I feared the worst for them at that point. Like you say, like a missed shot, and that could have cost them everything.
Yeah.
But was it Fame that picked off that double that got peeked into? White swung from Insani in a second. That's such a sick passage of play and a real difference maker. That's what gave them a hope in this round.
That's, yeah, without that, they probably don't stand a chance. Honestly, MIBR also kind of, it's nice that they keep their cool in a moment when they're pushing B while getting shot in the back from Toro. That's a high-stress situation that they could have crumbled under, but they decided to just kind of go for it. And honestly, they got way closer than I was expecting. Yeah, it's Fame here. Toro, both these kills as well. Super hard to get. Well played at the end of it. Klim, I think his only chance was shooting him right. Look at this. There's a coach saying, where the hell is the coordination, guys? What's happening? Oh, man. 11-10.
Yeah, that's Finn, the coach, getting animated. Switching up the pace. Insani and Exit, as ever. Getting himself some success. HE up and over. There's a smoke there to act as a bit of a shroud as Icy takes down Ivy. Now he can focus his attention elsewhere and puts down Exit. A huge moment from Icy. to keep them in this map, to keep the pressure and everything in the favor now of VP. And it's going to be a backstab from Fame. Klim does at least face his assailant, but it makes no difference. We're tied up at 11 apiece, but I think the money may be wrecked once again in MIBR. Just moments, just steps away from the finish line.
That's a really solid hold there. I love the attempt for MIBR to change the pace once again. That's the kind of stuff that can definitely work out. And, you know, one more kill in the yard. They have the bomb plant. That's it. But they got slowed down just enough. Again, Fame, though, very quick to rotate into that pop dog position. That's an interesting characteristic for him, just as an individual. Very helpful if it really is the A bomb site crumbling. But yeah, Flit doing some of the work early on here, tying up the game now, 11-11. And if money runs out on MIBR, that might be it.
Man, Flick coming into this round. 7 opening duels in his favor. Just absolutely dominating the server in those opening picks. And you'd expect, like, Exit would probably be up there. I mean, the way he's been playing, right? He's actually got 0 opening duels for and against.
Really?
That seems so weird, considering that he's been on the scoreboard so often.
Exit is 24-12. That's crazy. He wants to see if he can change the opening duel situation by pushing up towards that all-off position with a Tech 9. Oh, they're wrapping around, but they walk right into Toro. Excellent double spray down, and I think if you want to make a round like this one work, you need the opening. You have to get that first kill in to put some pressure on the defense. Doesn't happen. And now it's just a question of finding the end to the round here. Toro still farming some kills, aware that someone could be on the other side. Exit trying to sneak through, and it will be Insani alone as VP get to 12. They are 1 round away from the ultimate heartbreak here. MIBR, if they lose this next round, that's it. They get close on the second map, but they end up losing the series.
Man, look at the difference as well, and how both teams, it's super tight, right? 12-11, neck and neck, couldn't really be any closer. But you look at the kill dispersal on both teams. You have 3 players on 16 frags on VP. Flit is 6 kills ahead of Perfecto. The kill difference, the swing is 6. It's 19 on MIBR. Exit 19 kills above Kicker, who's only on 5. He's head and shoulders above everybody else.
That's a good point. Some failed grenades. Fame just spraying down Insani as he was trying to wrap around. Oh my god, and Flit on the other side. They're so confused, MIBR. This is a critical round, and they're not paying attention. I think Fame distracted them by pushing up, and then the double push coming in from the other side. They didn't even see it coming. Kickert now burning, and he's dead and gone. Oh, complete destruction here. In the final round of the map, they just get completely picked apart. Klim, he's got no chance in hell. They're going to find him sooner rather than later. It's Perfecto to get the kill or go down there, but no, it doesn't change a thing, unfortunately. Klim is still wedged in along the side of the wall here as Icy will pick him off. It's 13-11. VP looking sharper than ever.
Yeah, and this time they had to work for it. You know, Ancient was kind of like a freebie. It felt like a nice walk in the park, but this was a much scrappier affair. We talked about their CT side was inevitably going to be stronger than the T half, and it proved itself towards the end. But I've got to